friction in our systems. I will demonstrate today by lifting up a load through various devices, measuring with the Linescale, what does friction do in our systems and are they really as efficient as we think? Let's get into it. The testing setup is like this. I have 4 plates of 25 kilos and actually a bit more because they measure 106 kilos or 105 at the moment. That will go up. The blue rope goes over there through a deviation point, comes down. I will be pulling here on this Linescale, goes down, and that's rigged in a 2-to-1 system into the X-Safe. In a 2-to-1 because I know it's going to be too heavy for the X-Safe to pull, so we'll make it a little bit more efficient, but I'm measuring over here behind or in front of the system, so this inefficiency of this pulley will not interfere the testing results. I'm going to use the X-Safe remote control on the first setting to get like a slow and constant speed for the same, and then we can measure over time and really see the friction when in motion. So it's going to be one fluent pull, probably for about, it's going to be 50 centimeters probably, maybe 1.5, maybe a meter, but it's going to be a few seconds of a constant pull and we can really see the friction. First, we're going to start with the most simple deviation, and that's just a carabiner. All right, let me set it up. So I have the phone recording what the Linescale is measuring. I have a camera set up on the carabiner just for fun to see what happens. And the weight is on the ground. Right now I'm measuring 4 kg, so that's basically nothing. I will go to setting number 1. I start lifting, it goes up slowly, 100, 200, 200. That's very consistent. 200, 210, 220. Going up, almost there. So that's one. That means twice the amount of friction is in a carabiner. It's a slight angle. The more you go to the side, the lighter it will get. Right now we have 174 in there. So I will lower it back down. And then what you will see when we lower back down, that we probably get like 65 kilos in this, because the friction actually helps us when lowering, which is important to remember when we are working and what we are doing and build our systems, because maybe we want that friction. So I will put it on the lower, in the lowest setting. And here we go. Even less, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50, 50. So again, the half of it, basically. Now I stop, and the residual tension on what I need to hold here, that's the 60. So we get, I will write it down here on the board, and we change over to the next one, because this is a steel carabiner. I'm just curious if we use a nice little aluminum or alloy carabiner, what that will look like. Aluminum carabiner, let's do the lift. Going up, we are measuring nothing because there's no weight in it. Tension is coming, here we go. It's probably going to be the same, maybe a little bit less, but I think it's going to be the same. Well, it's actually exactly the same, it's actually more. Very small difference, negligible. All right, that's enough, let's go down. Same. All right, so there's no real difference in that. I was just curious. Now we change it over for a small pulley. Small one from Skalt, Dutch company. It's a very small, light, inexpensive carabiner, but I don't think there's actually any bearings in it. So let's put it in. The small Skalt pulley is in. There's a little bit of tension in the system. We go up. Here we go. Up, up, up. We're measuring 60, 120, 130, 130, 130, going up slowly. 130, 130. So that's pretty consistent. And we go back down. And we're measuring 80, 80, 80, 80, 80, 85, 84, 80-ish. All right. This one from Cresto. I don't know the model or the brand name. It's basically, it looks the same like the Petzl Simple Pulley. Oh, I forgot it. But the small red one from Petzl. So that's a little bucket that you cannot use. Small pulley. Let's see what it does. The joy of a one-man band. So I've already filmed, I don't know, 5 or 6 more tests than what you're seeing right now, but the battery of the microphone died and there's no audio, so I'm doing it again. Lovely. Cresto pulley is in there. 20 kilos right now, there's some tension. Gear number 1 going up. Oh, that was exciting. 150, 150, 150, 150, 150, 150, 150. All right, going down. 70, let's call it, I will call it 70. 150 and 70. The Petzl Mini Traxion. I used to have this on my harness all the time, lift with it. But then they came out with the Micro Traxion, which is way better. And now I'm using this and don't really like it. But let's put it in and see what it does. Mini Traxion is in, going up. All good. We're measuring 150, 150, 150, 150, 150, 150, 150. Good enough. Let's go down. 150 translates to 70-ish, 70-ish, 70-ish. Perfect. 150 on the way up, 70 on the way down. Next one. Petzl Rollclip. Z, I don't know, the AZ, whatever. Petzl Rollclip. I have this on my harness all the time, used for various little things. If you want to see what I have on my harness, you can check that video up here, where I explain all the bits and pieces I have in my bag, usually on my harness, but they switch around a little bit. Have a look after this video. All right, let's put it in. The Rollclip is in, and my prediction will be about the same as all the other small ones, 60% efficiency. And we're measuring 140, 140, 140, 140. It's brand new, so it's probably a little bit more efficient than if I would take an older one. 140, I've only had it for like 2 months. 140 and 80 on the way down. Let's write that down. Next one is going to be the Rock Exotica Omni block 1.1. They have all the various sizes. The bigger the sheave, the bigger the size, the easier, the more efficient the pulley will be. This is the small one. I have no idea. I would think it's very efficient, but because I've already tested it, I know it's not what I expect it to be. All right, let's put it in. Rock Exotica Omni block is in. Carabiner is open. Who cares? There's pre-tension. I need to do my clap at 1230, 1234, 34 kN in the system. And we go up. And we are measuring 120, 130, 130, 130, 130, 130, 130, 129. So not as efficient as I thought it would be. And on the way down, it's, I'm gonna call it 90, 130 and 90. Petzl Rescue. I think one of the most popular pulleys, at least in the area I work in the Netherlands. It's known that it's supposed to be very efficient, 93, 90, 93%, something like that. Very efficient. Let's see what it is in practice. Petzl Rescue pulley is in. Let's see what it does. Here we go. Try again. Here we go. Up, up, up. The whole system is going good. 124, 124, 123, 120, 120, 120. 120. On the way down, we're going to call it 90. 120 and 90. Next one is the Petzl Micro Traxion. Loved it when it came out. Still do. It's in my bag. Easy to grab. It's small. And if I know I need to build a small holding system, this is the one I go to. Let's put it in there. Micro traction is in, going up. 120, 120, 130, 130, 130, 130, 130. Pretty clear, 130. Going down, 9. That was really in the middle. I'm gonna call it 85. Just a quick announcement in between the tests. We are measuring today with the Linescale 3 by Line Grip. Absolutely love this device. There's others out there, but which I've been using since they were released, but I like this one more so far. I'm also biased because I am an affiliate right now. So if you buy these through my link, you will get a nice little discount and support the channel. Awesome devices, dedicated video is coming. All right, on with the test. Next one is the famous Petzl Traxion, used often if we want to lift. We know we need to be lifting a lot. Less popular these days with clutches and Maestros, but still, I think it's a very good pulley. I've already been surprised a little bit. Traxion is in. Let's see what it does. First gear, here we go. 50, 50, 124, 120. That's very consistent. Let's call it a 120. Going down. 90, 120 and 90. So I've rigged up the Petzl I'D as a progress capture device, what we do all the time. It's a great descender, but is it that good for lifting? So let's find out what happens. We go into first gear. I will monitor, first gear, 6 kilos going up, 40, 50, 90, 100, still nothing happening, still nothing happening. Jesus Christ, 200, here we go. 340, 330 is the friction in the device. I need to stop now. That's insane, isn't it? The amount of friction, 3.3 times the load. Impressive. Now, before everybody goes all crazy, yes, I'm using one rope all the time. I am not testing different devices. Same with the pulleys and the carabiners. Some might be more rounded or smooth. Some pulleys might be new and roll better. Some might have dirt in them and hardly move at all. Same with this. If this would be an old, very old used one for grid blasting or window washing in Dubai on the Burj Khalifa or something, these descenders really get the rough ropes running through them and they wear out far further, they get bigger, so there would be less friction, or maybe more, I don't know, I haven't tested it, but I would think less friction because there's more room for the ropes to move. This is an 11 millimeter Rebel rope. It's a pretty smooth rope, but it's 11 millimeters, so that will add some friction as well. So all kinds of variables. It's just to give you guys and myself a little bit of a clearer understanding what friction does and how much friction is generated in the different devices. So then we can make a well thought of or a well thought out decision on why we use a certain device and where in our systems. Next one will be the Sparrow by Climbing Technologies. I was really stoked when I saw this at the ANA fair, I don't know, a long time ago when they were just releasing it. I was really stoked and thought this would be the one that might challenge the I'D by Petzl, but it hasn't. And I've seen it used by rescue teams because apparently this one deals really well with heat dissipation. So if you're doing long lowers of two-person loads, then this doesn't get as warm as other devices. Sparrow's in there. We have a pre-tension, 8 kilos. Here we go. Lifting up, lifting up, lifting up, lifting up. Everything is looking solid. Here we go. 340, 350, a constant 340, 330, 340. I will stop for a second. Go again. Okay. On average, a 330 again. But a 350 at the max. So that's what you need to pull to get it in motion. Next up, the new rig. I love it. It has two things I don't really like about it. I talked about one in the gear video that I already mentioned. Link will be in the description. All right, the rig is in here. Let's see what will happen. 200, 250, again 340, 350, 340. I'm gonna call it a 340. Next up is liking the video. Give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you've not already done it, and hit that notification bell to always be notified as soon as I release a new upload. If you want to support the channel and enable me to make better videos for you guys, then you can head over to the Patreon and sign up for the level 1 tier. And that basically means that if you sit down to watch this video, it's gonna be a long one, have your cup of coffee and you buy me a cup of coffee. The ISC D4. Also another device I was pretty stoked about when it was launched. I bought 2 immediately for a job because of a certain feature I will get on in the D4 video, which I will be making at a later time. Let's see how efficient or inefficient it is in a pulley system. ISC D4, which I was just threading the rope in, and it was, I think this one might have the most friction, because the cam, there's such a long friction area of friction, but we'll see. Here we go. 92 when we start, going up. Oh, nope. 350, well, 350, 350, 350, 350, 350. Cool. Like I thought, 350. It's just a tiny bit worse than the Sparrow, I think, but we're splitting hairs here. It's just not the way to lift stuff up. Petzl I'D Evac. For a short lift and a long lower, they added the little friction point in here where you can thread the rope to, and the gripping point of the handle, it's different, so it's easier to use when you're pulling it like this. You can pull down, and on the normal IDs you have to push up actually. So if you know you need to lower stuff down, this is a very good device, but let's see how good it is at lifting. Should be the same as all the other ones. 300 coming up. 350, 350, 355, 355, 350. We'll call this a 350. Also a 350. Next one. Skylotec Sirius, another one I was pretty stoked about. It's like every time there's a new descender released, I'm like, ooh, this should be a good one. Skylotec Sirius has like the fact that there's a little bucket in here that you can use for a pulley system. Maybe it means it's more efficient than all the other ones. I don't think so. I think it will be around the same. So let's put it in and see what happens. Going up. Nice. I'm gonna call it a 320. Best so far, I think. Right before we get to the big boys, we're going to get into the TAZ Lov2. I don't know how you pronounce it, but TAZ Lov, that's what I would say. Number 2, there's the 3 is already out for quite a while, but I think they're pretty similar. I have to confess, I've used it a few times. I'm not very familiar with all the ins and outs, but it's here, so let's put it in a pulley system as a progress capture device. TAZ Lov2 going up. 220, 210, 220, 210. Let's call it 210. I did not expect that. That is cool. That was a surprise. I like it. But now we get to the big boys. Let's start off with the Maestro. It's a dedicated, well-designed piece of machinery that has a very efficient pulley in it and a handle, so it's easy to lift and it's very good to lower on. Let's see what it does in a practical scenario. All right, the Maestro is in a dedicated lifting and lowering apparatus, and it's going up right now. 130. 140, 130, 140, 140. I'm gonna call it 140. 140. 140, and it should be easy to lower because the handle is in the right spot to just pull down. Great device. The clutch is in. Let's see if we get a winner here. We do not. We do not. 160. Sound of progress. Love it. 160, but very consistent. We're gonna call it 165 maybe. In conclusion, some of the things we use work really good and some of the things we don't work at all. When I see somebody using a carabiner for a change of direction, I already knew it was like twice the friction that we saw. Double the friction, double the input, so it only makes it heavier for you. But maybe the direction of pull makes it easier, but still, there is no real gain in there. To keep it short, the real biggest surprise for me was the TAZ Lov2, which has about the same efficiency as a pulley, and if you look at it, the rope would go over like this, which is fairly similar in radius as a carabiner. And if I take like a rig, then the rope goes, how do I do it like this? All the way around here. So that's a lot of surface area to create friction. And this is just very little surface area to create the friction. So that's why it's almost at the same amount of friction as a steel carabiner, or the aluminum one was the same. So that was the real surprise and the winner for me. The one I did not expect. I would have thought that both the Maestro and the clutch would have performed better. For what we are using them, they are the perfect devices if you're talking about ease of use and lifting efficiency and lowering efficiency. But I would have thought that especially the Maestro would be a little bit better and closer to basically like a Pro Traxion. But differences are very small. We will see when I film the real pulley system's efficiency, how it actually translates in real world use, because this is still a little bit theoretical. Also, bear in mind I'm using one rope performing this test once. I've done a couple of more just to be sure, but they're all the same. It's a type of rope. Maybe the rope starts acting differently after it's been on the same piece of like 1 meter going up and down, going up and down. It gets a little bit warm. There's all these variables going on, but I think this could be a sort of a guideline and to help us understand how much efficiency we are actually gaining or losing. Because the thing is, don't use carabiners as a change of direction or a pulley, because they're not a pulley. Use pulleys for that. They all performed around the same, between 1.5 to 1.2 times the amount of force required to move it compared to the load, so 1.2, 1.5. All the descenders basically did about the same thing, 330, 350, 340, 350, 350, 320. So that's over three times the amount. I've seen other tests, like Richard Delaney, I will link the video in the description below, did test and he got 270 something, 276, 272 with an ID. I did a test previously and I got like 280. Now today I got 330. So there's so many variables in this, but about 3 times the load, 3.5 times the load. The winner, TAZ Lov, because it's as efficient as, sounds weird, efficient as a carabiner. And the perfect device is 1.4, 1.6 times the efficiency. So if you like this video, like I said before, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell to always be notified. Leave a comment in the description what you thought of this and if you made it all the way to the end. And what you would like to see next. I can do a lot more tests. I have the LS3s to measure everything. I got 2 right now. I can borrow a couple of more if we want to do really complex stuff. I would like to get your ideas, guys, because I'm stoked to really put these to the test. If you're interested in buying these, use my link in the description. You will get a discount which will enable you, well, you can do whatever you want with the discount, but with my discount, when I got it, I bought the padded cases to protect them during transport. And if you use my link and my code, which will also be in the description, you will support the channel and I'll get a little bit of a kickback, which would be awesome. So great devices, super strong, the big holes, easy to set up with everything. I'm testing them. I have been using them for the last few months, but these are the first real tests I'm doing it with them. So we'll get them to know a little bit better. And if I feel like I know everything, I will make a good video about this. I will see you in the next one. Stay connected.